everybody, and welcome to Secret Wars TLDR. And of course, TLDR stands for Too Long Didn't Read. And there's a crap load of tie-ins, and we each grabbed a couple of tie-ins, and we're going to break them down for you guys. I am Sal, and I did Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, and I also did Future Imperfect.
I'm Ben, and I did Giant Size Little Marvel AVX, and I also did Extinction Agenda.
Well then, I'm Tiffany, and I did Armor Wars, and I did Years of Future Past, and I did Battleworld number 2.
Oh.
That was one of the few number 2s that came out this week.
That's right. There was another one that came out, but somebody didn't.
Interesting.
What? No. Don't know what you're talking about.
Who's getting the extra credit this week from the God King Doom? That would be this lady right here.
Very good.
I'm not a lady.
So, yes, I did Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, so don't worry, we're going to get to there, but I figure we'll save it to the end, because, like, I'll probably have to talk about it a lot, and...
There might be a Sal rant.
Yeah, and I don't want to deal with that right now. So instead, I thought I'd talk about the other book I read, which was Future Imperfect, number 1, written by Peter David, with art by Greg Land, which is a very controversial artist, because, well, we'll get into it. But, like, Future Imperfect is just this weird, like, wasteland kind of place where a character called the Maestro rules over it. He's the Baron of this wasteland. The Maestro is a Peter David creation. It's basically, in the future, Bruce Banner / the Hulk gets smart, and he beats all the superheroes and takes over. And he's, like, basically the Hulk with a big beard. Like a big, white, snowy beard. And he looks pretty cool, and he, like, usually wears the garments of his fallen enemies, like jewelry.
That's creepy.
It's a cool image for the Hulk. So the Maestro's in charge of it, and Marvel's hinted that he's going to be like a major player when the Marvel universe gets put back together. So it's kind of interesting to see where he's going with that. The Maestro's a ruthless leader, and he's just a dick in the whole book.
Does this take place in Greenland?
No, but they reference Greenland. Like, he keeps threatening to send people to Greenland.
Huh.
Like, that's the punishment. That, like, you'll go deal with more Hulks.
That's fair.
Yeah, and it's, like, basically just a big, vast desert and then a city on the other side. And he rules over the city, and there's an underground resistance, and it's peopled with the offspring of characters that you know. Like, there's a character you first meet, her name's Ruby, because she's made of ruby quartz. Which is what...
Well, Scott Powers would never be... Scott Summers would never be able to hit her with his optic blast.
Well, yes, and in fact, like, his optic blasts are, like, inside of her. So, like, she can shoot them out whenever she wants to.
Whoa. No. I'm sorry. I'm not going to get into that. Okay.
So, and, and she's walking the desert, and she runs into who she thinks is Odin. This is this dude. He looks like Odin. He's, like, his eye patch, he's got beard and shit. And she's like, oh, like, if you were Odin, or if you are Odin, like, you need to come with me. And she brings him to the Resistance, and it's the Maestro. Like, it was Bruce Banner with a beard. I'm trying to remember actually what happens in this book, because, like, not a lot does, but they want you to think a lot does. Like, they show you a bunch of characters that don't matter, and then they, like, fight Hulk, which, of course, you can't beat, because he's in charge.
How does the title fit into this all?
It's just the name of the book that he comes from. Like, when Peter David first created Maestro, he was from a story called Future Imperfect. So it's, like, evocative of that. Like, when you read that title, you're like, oh, I know exactly what this is going to be about.
Got it.
Which is kind of the trend for all these books, really. Like, oh, I think I know what's happening. But then it's like, oh, but you don't, because it's Secret Wars. Incidentally, both books I read make almost zero references to Doom. Or any of that. It's like both writers were like, no, I don't want to do that. So then there's a last page reveal of who's in charge of the Freedom Fighters, and it's not nearly as impressive or exciting as, like, I'm sure that they expected it to be. But I guess the inner fanboy in me wants to see that clash. Of course, obviously, there's going to be spoilers here. Click here to move on. If you want to see the end, you can read those books and then come back and check us out. But here's the thing, at the end, it's the thing.
I was going to say it was the thing.
Yes, and it looks cool until you inspect it more, because clearly Land drew the thing, and he looks awesome. He's a big thing. Weirdly rendered, he's more like muddy thing than hard rock thing. It's like one version of the thing.
Kind of like Clayface thing?
Yeah, kind of. Like, he's more like, it's the Thing, but if you just literally just went like, okay, I want you to be mud now. Like, it's just the same exact formation of everything, but it's, like, weird. But clearly he drew that and then overlaid him on top of the background. Because he's floating over the floor. And you're like, this isn't a very long book. I don't understand why you need to cut these corners. That said, you know, Marvel's trying to push Maestro. They're like, oh, Maestro's going to be a big player. And the guy who created him, Peter David, is writing the Maestro again, and he does a nice job. Maestro's, of course, such a condescending dude. He's like, if the Hulk finally got a sense of humor and was like a sarcastic douche, like, that's who he is. And so it's fun to see the Hulk as a villain and as a master strategist. And I mentioned earlier he has, like, all the like armor of Iron Man and like the shield of Captain America and stuff. He has like a trophy room, not unlike the Red Skull from Old Man Logan. It's very much like that.
Yeah, incredibly creepy.
Yeah, but unlike Red Skull from Old Man Logan, Maestro's museum is open to the public. You can go and you can see all the things, all the people that he killed and all the stuff he took. But like, don't touch any of it because he'll kill you. It's really like it's a fun world where everyone's a scumbag. But
does he have Thor's hammer?
I don't remember if he has Thor's hammer. It wasn't in the museum schematics in the opening of the book.
There's a schematic for the museum.
Yeah, it's a little layout.
Like a little map.
Yeah, like welcome to the Maestro's Museum, here's your map. Like, oh, Spider-Man's mask is over in this corner. Like, cool, I better hurry over to that. It's really weird.
There's an audio guided tour with the Maestro being like,
yeah, like,
and this is how I killed this person.
Welcome to the Maestro's Museum. This is how I defeated Captain America. It's really weird. That said, like, do I want to read more? No. No one in this book is interesting or cool. Yeah, except for maybe the Maestro, and I only want to see him taken out of this context. Like, I want to see the Maestro put in, like, you know, Marvel 616, like regular Marvel, and go like, I gotta beat all these fucking characters all over again. This is bullshit. Like, that's more fun. If it gets us there, kudos, and I'll be happy I read it. But in the meantime, in the meantime, I don't think I'll be reading any more Future Imperfect. So, there you go.
So the first one I read was Extinction Agenda, written by Mark Guggenheim, drawn by Carmine Di Giandomenico, and colored by Nolan Woodard. So the book starts off with the legacy virus that... I think it's... No, legacy virus?
Should be, yeah.
Yeah, like... Okay, I remembered something! Woohoo!
Should be.
The legacy virus that started in Genosha when an android named... Cameron Hodge. Oh. The cyborg Cameron Hodge. Woo!
Oh, wait.
That's not an android.
Is it the legacy virus or is it the techno-organic virus? Because the legacy virus is like X-Men AIDS.
Or is it
and then there's another one that gave like Cable his metal arm
and stuff. Is it the Techno-Union Army?
No, I'm trying to remember. All they do is talk about like how, you know, people are turned into mutates and then like, you know, they have to heal themselves, but they don't say what it is.
That's fair.
What?
So what else happens in this book?
I like this version. Where
I like it where it's like, I don't even know what this is.
Like it's the story is actually one that ties into Battleworld.
Oh.
Pretty cool. The Genosians are basically in charge of the mutates. And mutates are this whole group of people who were oppressed for a long period of time on Genosha, and then that got transported into Battleworld. The problem is that there's a disease that the android Cameron Hodge, who apparently was an android, cursed upon these people. He made a pact with a demon.
Oh.
Well, literally, I was like, when you said that, I was like, no, that's... No,
yeah, what?
That's how viruses work.
And you're looking this up, you're just like, made a pact with the demon.
Okay,
I'm like...
Demon.
Yeah, so
it's like Ben's writing the Wikipedia article
as you're reading it.
Yeah, I'm dictating. Someone's doing this right now.
Nice.
And then Ben was ruler of the world. Say it in this?
No, I don't see that part. Oh,
we
there
gotta fire that guy. The main characters in this book are Wolfsbane and Havoc.
Oh, great.
Wolfsbane is fun because she speaks with an Irish or Scottish accent. I can't tell which. So they're trying to cure this disease, and they cannot do it. But they have been in contact with Doom to figure out, like, if they can get help from one of the other...
Like, directly with Doom?
They got teleported there, and then, like... And then Doctor Strange teleports them back with the winds of Watum.
Oh.
They're trying to figure out what they can do, and they're like, look, over in Extopia are the X-Men saving Xavier Mansion. and then it goes on with like 3 different X's. And they've got the X-Men, and Excalibur,
And X Factor.
and X Factor, and all these things are just like.
You're
and
like,
they're,
all
and
right.
they're going to meet for X dinner. And they're going to serve X steak and X mashed potatoes and asparagus.
So
Nice.
they're gonna let them border hop?
No, that's the thing. They decide that they're going to do it anyway. Havoc and Wolfsbane and a bunch of people decide that they're going to get in a jet and they're going to fly over to Extopia.
So they're just gonna
and they're
be
just going to kidnap them.
There's gonna be a bunch of douches.
Yeah, they're going to
Risk
break
everything.
the entire laws of Doom,
So they're-
risk contagion,
So, yeah,
and
the-
steal their friends.
They're the opening characters in a new zombie movie.
Great.
They're gonna like save their kid by bringing him over the border.
Yeah, by making the situation even worse.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
At one point, one of the characters over there is called Ghost, and I think it's Ghost. Might be someone else. They can summon ghosts.
Cool.
Maybe it's summon.
That's aptly named.
I'm gonna look it up later. I don't really care right
Fuck
now.
him.
Ghost Summoner Mystical Face McGee. He summons he's like, look, sometimes when a ghost comes through, I don't have control who it is, but right before they go on the mission, the ghost of Scott Summers appears before Havoc. So Cyclops is there, because Cyclops is dead. He's like, look, I don't understand, I'm still getting used to this. And he says, this is strange, and strange is highlighted. It's like, really bold, it's just like, but like, you don't understand what you're doing, I would never do this. If you try and go through with this, the consequences will be more than you can bear.
Mm.
And because Doctor Strange has the power over the spiritual plane, I'm assuming it's not Scott Summers, but it's actually Doctor Strange, where he's like, this is strange. Like, I'm giving it away to the people that are reading too much of this.
That's cool.
Because he could do that. This book, for me, is really going in an interesting place, because these are people that are not only defying God King Doom's laws, but are possibly infecting other mutants, friends of theirs, people that they love and respect, with this terrible demon techno disease. So, I'm on board for this. I want to read number 2. My only gripe about this, the art is great, the coloring is a little off-putting for me, because it looks like it was all done digitally, which means that everything is either, like, there's no real shading to it. It's color, and then it's a strong color against that. Like, you could definitely see the lines of where the colors are and are not. So
You mean, like,
things
so
don't...
Is it called cell
Things don't
shading?
blend. Yeah, I guess it's cell shading.
Yeah.
So
That's weak.
I will say this, cell shading is not just, it originated in traditional.
It wasn't always digital.
That's why it's called cell shading, because it originated in animation.
Oh.
The cells.
but it reminds me of...
Like a
it just
cartoon.
reminds me of web cartoons in a way.
Ah.
Like, where it's like, alright, this is a color, and now this is a color.
And I gotta get it out.
Do it all
Yeah.
digitally instead of, like, blending. Like, skin tones are just solid, but then you'll have shading where it's like, it's a little peach, and then it's darker peach. Hard line.
Right,
Gotcha.
right.
I'm not a huge fan of it. But the art is good. I think the writing is pretty competent. I like these characters so far, so I'm on board for number 2.
That's cool. Extinction Agenda, when it first started, was cool. So I'm glad to see that they're maintaining that tradition of excellence.
One of the ones I did this week, which was more of an assignment for me,
Yes.
something that I was super interested in, which was like, I was like, I'm going to take this challenge. Because usually, because usually
I made you read it.
when we do the books week, we pick out something we have interest in. So this was an opportunity for me to read something I wouldn't normally pick up.
Mm-hmm.
And I did Armor Wars, which was by James Robinson, with art by Marcio, it's Marcio Takara.
Oh! Oh! I like Marcio Takara.
I don't know who that is, but I wanted to hype off of your hype.
And Technopolis has like a problem going on.
Naturally.
Is there a demon virus that's going on?
There's something, because everyone needs an iron suit to live there.
Oh.
You can't live there without wearing an iron suit. By iron suit, I mean Iron Man suit.
Naturally.
Every person
Every man, woman, and child in Technopolis
wears an
has
Iron
an
Man
iron
suit.
suit.
Doesn't that get gross?
I would imagine.
Well, I assume they can change them, and there's a reason I assume that. But you have to be wearing it. But you can have your face exposed and stuff like that. But
What?
like, you have to wear this suit, okay? And the story really like starts off with Spider-Man, S-P-Y,
yes, well,
man,
naturally.
in an iron suit.
Okay.
He's web swinging, and like he's got goons after him because in this world we have a bunch of main players: Tony Stark,
Makes sense for Technopolis.
Yeah.
Fisk.
Oh.
I'm gonna get
a
her
big suit.
name wrong.
It's a good take.
I can't remember her name, and her name's not on the building that she's involved with.
Oh,
but I want to make sure I get it right because you might know who it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I certainly didn't know who it was, but it's
pronounced
by the way,
Jean Grey.
I hate you so much. Kiri Oshiro?
I think that's a Wolverine character.
Oh, there you go. So Kiri Oshiro, Fisk, Baron, Tony Stark, and Arnor Stark.
Oh.
Tony Stark's brother.
Right.
Okay.
That's dumb.
Well, okay.
Right.
So in this, Spider-Man,
Yeah.
Is Peter Ulrich.
Oh. All right.
Ulrich?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ulrich.
Or, yeah, like
And-
Ben Urich.
Yeah, and he's Ulrich, yeah. He's stolen, information from Fisk. He's being chased down by goons.
Are the goons in armor?
Yeah, everyone's in armor. It's
Okay.
funny, too, because he still web swings.
Right.
What about
Hey, why does he
pets?
fly?
Someone's got a dog or a cat. They have to be
Yeah,
able
they
to
got a
do it.
robo
I don't
dog.
think anybody's got pets.
No
They're
time.
making suits for pets.
Yeah, they're dead. Screw it.
What a sad
Okay.
world.
He's web swinging and he's dating Kiri
Okay.
in this, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta pick up some flowers for Kiri
Yeah.
to make up for my date that I missed with her and the date before that."
Right.
And then he defeats the goons, like no problems.
Right.
And then like he turns around and in this mess, like you see like a shadowy figure, and he's like, "I of course I would meet you here," and there's a big explosion, and that's the last we see of him.
Right.
And then we go to Baron Stark's castle, which is just a big tower. It's just a Stark tower. And there's Pepper. She's in
Armor
suit.
as well.
But it's a sexy suit.
It is. Your little face.
Of course.
And of course, they're just talking. Tony had a dream about his brother.
Okay.
Because prior to Tony being Baron, Howard Stark was Baron.
Oh.
And he bequeathed the Baron role to Tony. He chose him between the two
Skipped
brothers.
over him, yeah.
Good.
And
Arnor was an ass.
well, that's how it is in this too. And like really, we end up getting this feeling of, or not even feeling it. It's just said that like Arnor skates the line between law and like breaking the law, and like they've never really pinned anything on him. And he also makes suits. Like they both make suits for the populace, and like 65% of people wear Tony suits, and the rest wear Arnor's. And like so, he's always kind of worried about that. But there's nothing he can do about it. He's like, look, I made a promise to my dad, and that's just it, right?
Okay.
In this, we also meet Grand Marshal Rhodes,
Oh, cool.
who was a Thor. But when he's not around Doom, he prefers to be called Grand Marshal Rhodes. So he's like the law of this world.
Okay.
And he looks awesome, by the way. He's
Does
huge.
he have armor too?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
he like an armor Thor?
Uh-huh.
Is he like a Thor machine?
Kind of, yeah. Nobody calls him that, but now I wish they did.
I will now.
Clearly we know we've got Fisk, and he's an issue.
Right.
We've got Arno, and he's an issue. We've got this chick who's making her own stuff.
Yeah.
And we got Tony, who's like stuck in this weird place where he's like, I have a duty to the people and the law and Doom, but I also have a duty to my father.
Gotcha.
So clearly that's going to be a developing part of this whole plot. The end of this, it comes with Rhodes contacting Kiri and being like, hey, and he's like, oh, you looking for Tony? He left. And he's like, no. And like, she's like, you're looking for my sister? Because she's not. He's
Okay.
like, no, I want to talk to you. It's about your boyfriend.
Oh.
And she's like, oh, yeah, whatever. And he's like, why? Is everything okay? And he's like, I'm going to need you to come down here.
Oh.
And it's just his body, and there's a huge freaking hole in his chest. Like, he's dead. Peter
Yeah.
Ulrich is
Yeah.
dead. Like, that's it. I mean, like, he had info about Fisk, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So, it's... Again, this isn't a book I would have picked up, but I'm kind of interested in it now. Like, I like Tony Stark in the movies, but, like, I've never really been into, like, Iron Man in the comics for the most part. I like him part of the team. I like him part of the Avengers, but, like, I was really hesitant to pick up a book just about Iron Man-based characters,
Yeah.
where they all have a suit and stuff like that. But this is interesting. It's, like, corporate espionage. There's some family drama. There, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, overall, the art, I really dug it. It's got this kind of grittiness. It's a little darker toned book, and the story itself is a little more on the darker edge. They definitely reference Doom in this book.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's...
He's involved.
Did they explain at all why they have to have the suits on?
No.
So the next thing that I covered was giant-sized little Marvel AVX.
This is like I was really excited
This
for you
was-
to read.
Yeah, this was something everyone was really excited for. Ben and I were going back and forth on who was going to read this, and Sal and I decided that it might be more interesting to not have the female perspective of
Yeah.
the couch read the
The cute little
Yeah.
babies book.
Yeah. Written and drawn by Scotty Young. This takes place in Marville, Ville. Mm-hmm. Which I thought was just a cute name for the town. No, I realized it's actually a place on Battleworld. It's number 17. It's right down there.
Yeah, no, they Scotty Young got his own place.
Yeah.
All of his variant covers converged
into this one tiny little spot of Marville. And he's just like, cool, they all live there.
Yeah.
Every panel in this is great. I'm loving everything about this book. Has absolutely nothing to do with Battleworld. They don't touch on Battleworld at all.
Good.
There's a statue of Doom in the middle of the town.
Is he also
Like,
Scotty Young?
oh, just real Doom?
You know, like the
Like
Muppets.
Nanny.
Exactly, Muppet Babies.
Yeah.
So the story just starts off with this little jingle of like, hey, if you're down here, you might notice all these people. It doesn't matter if you're like, you know, being lorded over by Apocalypse or if you're listening to Spider Quips.
Can I just say, like, I read a little bit of this because we weren't sure about what was going on. That drives me nuts.
Not knowing what song
the
it
song
is?
Yeah,
is?
that
Yeah.
was one of my biggest issues with reading Tolkien.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't know what the tune is!
He's like, neither do I.
Exactly. No, it's just like, look, it's just a little ditty. They rhyme, and I'm putting musical notes around it. What's the theme? There's no song.
Yeah, there's no song. I didn't even
I
chase
tried to
on
make
anything.
it go to the Muppet Babies.
Really?
I was like, this is not working.
It didn't work.
No, it wouldn't work at all.
I'll try.
I'm not gonna, I was gonna.
No, just keep going.
But it's fun. So you start off meeting all the characters. Magic and Iron Man have a little spat because he melted her evil little pony. And she is wrecking the Avengers. Just absolutely destroying them, and it's great. And then the book really starts off with its main story of Toad and Blob going to get some food. And they're not sure what they want to eat.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, they go over to Iceman's stand, and he's got ice cream.
No.
And they're like, do you have any hot dogs? He's like, no, but I got my own little spin on it, and it's a frozen hot dog.
Naturally.
And then Captain America across the street. So you started off with the X-Men, and now you've got Avengers.
Oh.
He's like, I got hot dogs, great old delicious American hot dogs, actually hot dogs. They're like, oh, let's go over there. So they run over to his place. And then Toad's like,
can I stop you right here?
Sure.
Is this the rest of the book?
Yes.
What's the end result?
What happens at the end? Captain America tells Cyclops that he sucks.
That sounds like the end of Avengers and X-Men.
It's amazing. There were so many times where I laughed in this, and sometimes they were silly, stupid jokes, and sometimes they were really well set up. One of the things that it was a sight gag. Everyone's in line to order something, and Daredevil is turned the wrong way in the line. He just goes, I'll have the Diablo nachos. You're like, it's a blind joke.
Get it?
Get it? But when you think about it, you're like, he's Daredevil. Clearly he knows the right way.
He has radar.
This just makes me laugh because I'm a terrible person.
But he's also, like, because I saw that panel on Reddit. Mm-hmm. He's also not even at the front of the line.
No!
Yeah, he's
It's
just
a
totally
blind joke.
No,
he's blind
maybe
and
it's
oblivious.
not. Maybe it's Daredevil taking advantage of himself being, like, blind.
Yeah, he'll wait for someone to help him cut the line.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I feel
poor little
bad.
guy.
He's blind, he can't see, he's just
They
watching
live with each other. They
shows.
should know
But they
better.
all know. That's just it. So that was great. I loved. Cyclops was making terrible eye puns, like really bad jokes about his eye, and they would just be like, "I don't get it." And he's like, "It's because my name is Cyclops." And they're like, "I get that, and I have one eye." Yeah, I get that. He's like, "I hate you guys." You know that
Yeah,
scene in the second Avengers movie, Age of Ultron, when they did that like spin of watching them all do stuff?
Yeah.
I want a statue of that, but as Scotty Young characters. I want, like, 5 or 6 characters in a scene doing something. That's what I want a statue of. Because he creates these wonderful moments. Like, the characters are great, but the moments of what's happening is the interaction and the emotion that these people that have. It's great.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Well, I'm glad that that worked out.
Next.
Yeah, what else we
Well,
got?
then, between the two that we couldn't decide who was going to read what, because this we definitely wanted to cover due to the fact that we did a back issues on it. And if you want to check out our Days of Future Past back issues,
Click the sanitation to see that episode.
if you want to check out our Days of Future Past episode of back issues, you can click this annotation right here.
Click the sanitation here to watch the...
I'm not putting those annotation bars in. Just one bar.
It sounds like... And it's right here!
It's right here.
I have the power!
I hate you guys. I did Years of Future Past, number one. In the book, there was maybe 2 pages of actual Years of Future Past issue.
Like time travel?
And then the rest of it was other and I'm so kidding you.
Oh,
right now.
God. Oh my god, yeah. There's one story where Nightcrawler goes to hell, and
There's a couple of pages here, and there's a couple of pages there.
a Brood escapes.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I felt really at home because
Comfortable with this.
Yeah.
And there's a Christmas special.
Yeah, exactly.
No, this whole book was dedicated just 2 Days of Future
Wow.
Past. It was just that.
How unexpected.
I know. So now I'm not sure where the rest of the series is going to go since they've already devoted an entire issue.
Yeah, to that story. Bizarre.
It's written by Marguerite Bennett with art by Mike Norton. Here's what's cool, and I am very lucky that it was you guys where we did the back issues together on this, that we get to talk about this. But the book starts out almost identically
To the original.
That's
cool.
With
Kitty getting supplies and
sorry, that is not Kitty. It's Chrissy Pride. That is
What?
Chris. That is Chris. That's Chrissy Pride.
Chrissy. Okay.
We meet this young mutant, and by the way,
we got the image.
we got the image. You get a mutant. She's a pride. You get the
You get
bus.
the bus being pulled by horses.
Exactly.
That's awesome. I love that image.
There's actually even a VW Bug back there being pulled by horses.
It's upside down, knocked on the road.
And
Jerry, you should have watched
There's
that.
a car, George.
she's looking through the city. She's trying to find some stuff. She got this monologue going, or like inner monologue going about like humanity and how like they've kind of ruined everything and how mutants are essentially like almost extinct.
Mm-hmm.
She ends up at the Bronx Zoo.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in New York, obviously.
Right.
And she's looking around there, and a tiger shows up.
Okay.
And she's like, "Oh no, a tiger!"
Uh-huh.
Except she's not. Like, she has, like, a witty thing, because, like, she goes, and here there be tigers. And then she's like, she goes, okay, but kind of, it's literally, like, there are tigers.
There are tigers
there.
I'm at the zoo.
And then, Logan shows up.
Oh.
Wolverine shows
Like Days of
up.
Future Past, Wolverine.
Yeah, Days of Future
I was
Past.
hoping it would be Siegfried and Roy. They'd be like, ha-ha!
I've got this!
No, it's like Canadian, like, Wolverine.
Yeah, with his coat.
Yeah, and he takes care of the tiger, and he's...
Oh, he kills the tiger?
Well, yeah.
That's sad.
Well...
What a jerk.
Well...
Wait, he snicks it?
He got, well, yeah, I think he like, I don't know if he, no, I'm sorry, he doesn't stick it, he flips it, he grabs it, that's what, it just threw me off, he grabs it by its foot and he flips it.
Oh, that's
He
that's
does,
an awkward way to...
He does karate on it.
I know, it's really weird, he gets rid of it, and then he's like, to be fair though, he does wonder why they don't kill them and eat them. Because they're scavenging for food. He's like, I don't know, why have we never done that?
Right.
That's an excellent idea.
And she's
Yeah.
like, they're endangered. He's like,
So are we!
We're in danger.
exactly!
And that's a lot of delicious meat. Have you ever had tiger meat? It's delicious.
He doesn't
I
know.
know.
He's like, I bet they are.
Because they're beautiful.
So this is when it's revealed that it's Chrissy Pride. And
Right.
she's like, it's Christina. And he's like, if I changed your diapers, you're Chrissy.
Aww. That's cute.
And she's
I
like,
wouldn't want to be called Chrissy if my name was like Christina.
whatever. We're here on, like, you know...
Scavenging mission.
Yeah, for the Doom State. Like, this is another one. They're like,
They're like, Doom!
Doom is happening, and we accept that, whatever, that's what we're here on. And they're like, fine, whatever, you helped, like, you know, the Sentinel's like, this computes. You helped bring in, like, mutant number blah blah blah, and mutant number blah blah blah. And I was like, I wonder what that is.
Yeah.
They go back, Colossus is there, he's older now.
Yay, he's not dead! I thought when you said like her parents, I was like, and they died.
No,
Yeah.
Kate's around, and Colossus is there, and,
Oh.
and he's distinguished. He's got the black hair, the little gray. It's very strange, but it's not.
It's very strange because
Yeah.
of the gray.
No, I meant strange, yeah. I meant like Doctor
Weird.
Strange.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I meant like the doc.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, exactly. And you know who else is there? I gotta make sure I get her name correct. It's Rachel, which I assume is...
Yeah, Rachel Summers.
Rachel Summers is there, and Uncle Eric.
Yeah. Is he in a wheelchair? Oh, yeah. Nice.
Uncle Eric is in a wheelchair, which I was like, I guess I forgot about that?
Yeah, he's there too.
Yeah.
In
It's
Days
such-
Past. He's there.
It's
just,
such
who cares?
poetic justice. I'm like,
Yeah.
ha-ha! And, you know, Logan heads off wherever, because he's Logan.
He's a loner.
And
Yeah.
what she was actually getting was the final components for them to make a serum or something like that that'll get the restraining collars off of them.
Right. That's what they do in the other one.
Right?
It's called thermite. Just
But this time they actually do it. And I'm going to show you this because remember the cover, obviously, of Days of Future Past that was similar to this?
Yeah.
Right? Chrissy Pride wears
The old.
And she has... So I'm like, while that is definitely Kitty Pryde from the old one, it is also indicative of Chrissy Pryde becoming...
Like, taking over.
Does she have the same power?
Well, here's the thing, we don't know what power she has. Because part of the plot in this is that Chrissy is one of the youngest mutants around. Because Chrissy was one of the last born before they started sterilizing mutants.
Oh.
That was Wolverine's job.
Snicked.
Wow! we got Magneto in his...
Prime?
Well, no, in his, like, red Magneto costume, and what he does is he makes, like, leg bindings around his legs out of
so
metal.
he can walk.
Cool.
But he's nice flying anyway, but he still has them.
Right.
And they're doing their thing, and Colossus has got his little tiny outfit going, just like,
His Speedo.
Yeah, he's got that going on, and they're all fighting and stuff like that, and Chrissy gets hit.
Oh.
And her mutant powers activate. And she becomes, like, metal,
Okay.
like Colossus, but she can also, like, she's also, like, Mr. Fantastic bendy powers.
Okay.
She is the T-1000. That's literally what she can make blades. You can't trust her. The two people who Kelly sent off to like make trouble for the mutants essentially go to this lab and they awaken two mutants, which are the numbers that the Sentinel rattled off.
Right.
And the two mutants that they awake from their chemical coma that they've been in for like 15 years are Mystique
Okay.
and the Blob. And then they go, hey, get this stuff. There's people out there who totally turned you in, and they're like trying to like make the mutant like reforming. Someone's gonna.
The Mutant Reformation Act?
I don't know.
Or Registration Act?
Usually.
Or Oppressment Act?
I think they really just mentioned that the fact that they want to make mutant forces to go out there and like whatever. But like, look, Kitty Pryde turned you in. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
And the Blob is messed up in this for some reason. Something happened to him.
Okay.
Like he's hideous.
No!
Yeah.
I like that they took the idea of Days of Future Past and they turned it into like all right, well, what if there was no time travel?
Right.
Like, what if...
That's what's so interesting about it.
I know, but how do you make that world continue? Well, you don't even have that element. You're like, what if they just stuck to the plan?
Yeah, what if they actually can't unmake that future?
Right,
yeah.
like, what if, like, where would this go? Well, they had...
the future is not set.
Oh my god.
There's no fate, but we'll make for ourselves.
I do like the fact that... Thank you. I like the fact that they deal with, like, the fact that the mutants are almost extinct. And that they did do the whole sterilization thing, which is really messed up.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's just so far beyond what we got from Days of Future Past. It's so bleak.
But it,
their
like,
future.
follows that natural...
It does. Point. It absolutely does. I think it's neat that it's, like, Kate's daughter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, like, the fact that she looks like her. So, like I said, the cover could be twofold.
Yeah.
And the fact that Logan is a kid. Possibly Kate.
With
possibly someone else. Who knows? I don't know.
That's cool, though.
Like, that's neat. Like, that Logan! God damn.
Logan is a dad?
Yeah.
Well, he's a dad in the regular universe, but his son sucks, and who cares?
Oh, that's right.
Dakin.
Once again, like Days of Future Past, you have a plot that's surrounding Kelly.
Right.
And, like, if you save him, or you know what I mean? Like, that's cool. Like, taking that original, like, story and being like, all right,
and just going in another direction.
You're not doing time travel, we're just doing it now.
Yeah. Like, it always surrounds Kelly. It always surrounds, you know what I mean? You still have some of the original players. You have Mystique there. They brought her back.
Yeah, both Mystique and Blob were major bad guy players.
You don't have Magdi, but that's okay.
Yeah, who cares?
Baron, President, Senator Killer.
So, here's the thing. I guess for this one, like, I would keep reading this one. This one I'm going to definitely add to my when it comes out because, like, I think it's neat. I like where it's going for right now. Like, how about this? I'll give it to at least issue 3 since I feel like we only had 2 actual issues of Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
So, like, I gotta at least see what they do with a 3rd issue, right?
That's crazy.
It would be impossible. How could they even do it?
Mind blown.
How is the art?
The art's good.
Okay, cool.
I like it.
It looked pretty good.
It looks very good. Again, it's a little darker. But, like,
good.
It looks good. Like, and, like, the artist and the writer really pay attention to those details from the first book. Like, again, having the bus with the horse-drawn carriage, having the outfits be exactly the same. Like, they've got those little jumpsuit things, you know?
Yeah.
It's good. It's good all around. If you like X-Men, pick it up. If you had any interest in Days of Future Past, pick it up. Like, it seems like a pretty solid X-Men story. It's a different style of team than you're probably used to seeing, like, working together in some sense, you know? And there's the mystery. The quickest rundown of a monster so foul. Does take place in New Quack City, the Duck District. It features It's essentially Count Duckula, but it's not.
What? Count Duckula?
It looks like...
That's awesome!
No, it's Dracula,
But
it's Count Duckula.
That's totally Count Duckula. That's Doctor Strange Count Duckula.
No, it's Dracula. And
Quackula.
and Blade's there. Like Human Blade. And,
Oh.
like 70s Human Blade with like the brown and the goggles.
Oh my
Because
god.
everyone has a duck.
Yeah, and he's
Nice.
like, I fought like all kinds of monsters. What the hell is this? But he knows it's little vampires.
Okay, so he's gotta take it
kicking
down.
his ass, and then like Howard the Duck's in a bar, and he sees this all happening. He's like, hey, don't pick on ducks, screw you! And they start fighting, and that's when Count Dracula Duck is like, I'll get my other minions, and he goes up and he gets his army of duck vampires, and then they fight the vampires.
Okay.
And then Duck Blade shows up,
Oh.
but he looks like Wesley Snipes Blade. And his katana is just a giant wooden stake. Like,
Yeah,
in the
that's
shape
fair.
of a katana, and
Okay.
he just kills Dracula.
Oh, cool.
And, like, Howard the Duck's like, you should take some fashion tips from him. And then Howard the Duck and Blade, like, head off.
Into the
to
sunset.
get some food, because they're hungry from killing all those vampires. And then they quip at each other.
Awesome.
So, like, it was like, this is stupid!
How weird.
But
What a throwaway.
I'm telling you, the Battleworld's book is just like, hey, I have an idea. I want to see Blade meet Howard the Duck. All right, whatever. Here's like 6 pages. Go for it.
Yeah.
No, it's... What if Blade met Howard the Duck?
Or like Duckula versus Blade. Like we can't use Duckula.
I love it.
Let's make our own Duckula. Fuck it. Well, we have a duck, don't we?
And then at the end they get food because I am starving.
The next vignette
Oh yeah.
is Ross against the Machine. And that one takes place in Arcade's Kilnasium.
Naturally.
I think I'm saying that right.
I should hope so.
Kilesium, sorry.
Kilesium.
Arcades. This one takes place in Arcade's Kilesium, which we have technically seen.
General Rose?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll get there.
Sure.
We've technically seen the Kilesium in the book that Ethan read of Planet Hulk
Oh yeah.
with Devil Dinosaur and
Captain America,
Captain
yeah.
America, because they were Captain Hulk. I was called because they were in the Glad Hurley Arena, and that's where they are. They do mention them in this book. You do see Cap interacts with
cool.
Ross. In this, it's just arcade it's just gladiatorial battles for the people, for Doom. Arcade's running this whole thing. It's very much like that guy from Tron, the bar owner.
Oh yeah.
In a sense,
Yeah, I
this
don't
is
remember
that-
his name. Zeus.
Yeah, it's like
Rinsler?
Rinsler's the bad guy.
Oh.
yeah, it is like Zeus. Kind of, not really. In this, General Thunderbolt Ross he's more machine than man now.
Yeah.
Like it's like he's like all machine, and then half of his face is Thunderbolt Ross's
That's hilarious.
face, and he's called War Machine.
Naturally.
And he goes out and he fights like
War Machine?
No, they bring in zombies from like Beyond the Shield.
Right.
You could do that?
Arcade can, I guess.
That's weird.
And he fights them.
That seems really
So at one
odd.
point, there's like it looks like one of the goblins is there. Like it's really weird. I'm like, this is weird. And he does fight them. And,
It's a great way to kill characters. Like, hey, you want to see this character die?
We
can
don't-
do that.
Here's a
But it's
zombie.
We don't see him.
Oh.
You just know that they're there.
God damn it.
And Taskmaster's got a real problem with him, so, like, he's like, Ross, gotta go, we gotta get rid of him. Like, Arcade, I'm done with your stories, because Arcade likes to tell stories. Arcade comes up with these stories, I should say. Where he's just like, no, Thunderbolt Ross is trying to find, like, where his daughter's killer went.
Oh my god.
Because his daughter died, so he plays through all
He's
these...
like creating like soap operas for like. Is he telling to himself or is he like?
No, he tells them to everybody.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
he's
it's
like he's addressing the
Chaucer.
audience.
He's like, and
Well,
like...
it's exactly just like Gladiator.
Yeah.
When they're just like, oh, and here we have the battle of this, and
Yeah.
then like, and you guys go out in these costumes, and you're the.
Which, by the way, the previews for this was Ross fighting a bunch of Hulks.
Yeah, which
Like
sounds
that
awesome.
splashing, that doesn't happen.
Oh, good.
So Taskmaster threatens Arcade at like one of Arcade's parties, which is like, why would you do that?
Yeah,
Don't
what a
do
weird
that.
thing
He's
to
a
do.
crazy person, right? Like, don't do that. So then he's like, fine, yeah, all right, whatever. So then like they have the next battle the next day with like and like Ross is out there and like zombies are everywhere and they're like Thunderbolt Ross is finally gonna get like closure on the story of what happened to his daughter and like Doom's there and shit like that.
Oh.
Wow.
This is where this goes off the rails, and I'm like, this is not a part of Battleworld. Like, even though it is, I'm like, no.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, and here's his killer.
Taskmaster.
And they're like, yeah, it's Taskmaster. And Taskmaster's like, nah, I'm not the killer. I didn't do it.
And everyone's like, Arcade said you did. Suck it up and do it.
That's it. And Ross is like,
what are you
I
saying?
know you did it. And
Right.
like, he's like beating him up and they're fighting. And like,
Well, it's impossible because Taskmaster can
Can't
copy
copy
anyone's
any
fighting
move.
stance. He
and
can't be
well,
beaten.
except he's a robot.
Right, he's fighting robots.
He's got like Favos.
He's like, I could literally do the same thing. Like, I'll launch my rocket. Oh, right, I'm a person.
Shit, hang on. Can I get one of those arms?
And Ross is like, no, you did. You killed her. But so did everyone. Arcade, Doom, they all killed her. And I'm like, oh my, shut the hell up. And then Taskmaster like almost gets him, but then like Ross like flips him and like throws him to the zombies, and the zombies eat Taskmaster.
Okay.
And then like he's like, and like Ross is like, like, you know, you guys are all assholes, that kind of thing. Like he makes fun of, he like makes fun of Doom, and like Doom has like red eyes, which I was like, what? And like Doom's like, and I was like, that's where I was like, no.
Yeah,
So, of the 2 Battleworld books I've read so far, I'm not as into this one.
No.
I was like, the Ross story's gonna be way better than the Blade one, and I enjoyed the Blade one more, and I was like,
yeah, which is
that's
hard to
unfortunate, because I was like, he's gonna fight some Hulks.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
No! Alright, and here is what
All
everyone,
right,
I think
so-
everyone just fast forward to this part of
Yeah,
the video.
maybe.
Yeah, no one.
So you missed the sexy party we had.
Yeah,
it was-
with all the dancing
Woo!
girls.
Crazy.
So my neck is actually still a little sore
Yeah,
from that.
and I can't remember what point that was at the video, so you just have to watch the whole thing.
You'll have to watch the whole thing.
Anyway,
You can, you know.
So I read The Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, written by Dan Slott with art by Adam Kubert, which sounds like a dream team combination. Adam Kubert drew Astonishing Spider-Man and Wolverine, and a lot of all other awesome stuff. The Kuberts are always just so good
Okay.
at art and at arting, and he does a nice job with this, albeit a little bit inconsistently. Unfortunately, there's a lot of deep personal interactions between Pete and Mary Jane, which of course you're looking forward to hearing about. But he likes to use these like wide, tall panels, which requires you to pull back to
a thinner?
like a thin, tall panel.
Okay.
Which actually McFarlane liked to use, and he went really close, so you'd see like fingertips and eyeballs, as opposed to Kubert, who pulled way back. So you'd see like Pete and Mary Jane and Annie, their daughter, at like the kitchen table,
and then like the top
and like
half
the rest of the
kitchen.
house, and you're like, Jesus.
Like, what am I, outside?
Yeah, what is happening?
Well,
Like,
as you understand, we need all the room for these words.
yeah, they don't even say that much. It's funny, like
So
so.
they just stare quietly at each other
look
over
at each
dinner.
other.
Just be like, I hate you. I hate you too.
And does he also yell about what kind of car he drives?
Yeah, like a Dodge Stratus. or
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
So
You do not talk to me like that!
I'm Spider-Man. So
I fly around the city!
people have been waiting to see Spider-Man and Mary Jane back together since One More Day, and I was one of them. I was one of the people who quit reading Spider-Man for a while. Dan Slott, interestingly enough, pulled me back in with Big Time, and I reluctantly and begrudgingly got on board with a single Spider-Man, whom we've had for a long time now. This is a return to form with that. Like, here's Spider-Man and Mary Jane, and they're back together, just like you always wanted. Right? Right? This is what you wanted! And that's like the tone of all the solicitations. Like, right? That's what you wanted? Well, here it is! And you better fucking enjoy it, because it's over after that. Over! And you're like, what the hell's happening? Like, that's how all the solicitations, like, there's this undercurrent. All the interviews that I read with, like, the editors and the writers themselves, they're just this, like, you asked for it! And you're like, what is... Jesus Christ, buddy. All I want to do is see these two perfectly happy people be happy with each other. Well, here it comes! Okay. So, here it comes. Pete and Mary Jane are back together, and they have a kid. They didn't name her after Aunt May, they named her after Aunt Anna instead. Aunt Anna is Mary Jane's aunt.
Oh.
There's actually a cute little narration that is... it's supposed to pull you in, but then it, like, goes horribly wrong, as it naturally does when Dan Slott's like, hey, I promise you love and happiness. It's like Joss Whedon being like, don't worry, these two are destined to be together forever.
Swipe through the chest.
Forever is the next 5 minutes. The opening narration is just a collage of framed portraits of Pete and Mary Jane and their kid and their family, and it says, in a perfect world, Peter Parker, Mary Jane Watson were always meant to be together. And you're like, that's right. that's right, yeah. And like, but this ain't a perfect world.
Well, because it's Battleworld.
Yeah.
This world is not perfect.
Oh, here's the thing.
This is a battle.
Yeah, this ain't a perfect world. It's a battle world. That said, no reference to Battleworld, no reference to Doom, no reference to Barons, no reference to anything.
If only you said, like, and love is a battlefield.
No.
Damn it. What a missed opportunity.
There might have been a reference to a Baron, but nothing else. Zero.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
In this, it's also kind of like not the natural... Like, people wanted to see Pete and Mary Jane together because, I think, and this is my personal opinion, because Straczynski did a nice job of putting them back together and reconciling, like, a 30-something Spider-Man who's also married, but still needs to sell books called Spider-Man. Like, how do we make this adult male legitimize being a superhero? And One More Day invalidates him completely because they say, like, if they have children, he has to stop being Spider-Man because it's irresponsible to be Spider-Man and have a kid. This book explores that territory, but without all the character building and maturity of Straczynski, they kind of like dial the clock back and make it kind of set in like the 90s. And not like the 90s, like it's in, like they're listening to Chumbawamba in the comic. It's just like, it's a 90s era of Spider-Man. Like, Pete and Mary Jane live in a crappy apartment in the city, Pete's taking pictures of Spider-Man for money from the Daily Bugle, and they also have a kid and they're married. And Mary Jane, of course, is like in the 90s, like bland and interesting. So, in this, the street-level heroes are starting to go missing, and so Spider-Man's got to fight their villains, and you never see any of that, but he complains about it a lot, and then he winds up going on patrol, and he goes to the Avengers Mansion to find out what's going on. The Avengers are like, oh, good thing you're here, Spider-Man, because we just figured out what's going on. He's like, oh, great, that works out for me. And what's going on is there's this, like, corporate douche who's stealing superheroes and siphoning their powers and putting them into himself. And he's going to be like a big super bad guy who has like all the superheroes' powers.
And he's like unstoppable.
More or less.
He's like a super scroll of villains.
Yeah, except he doesn't like exhibit those powers. He just... he
has them.
Yeah, he has them, and you see them when he uses them. Like, they make reference to like, oh, the X-Men like went and fought him and they never came back, and then later on, he'll be in a fight, and he'll use his optic blast, like Cyclops is like, and you're like,
whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, and we all know, based on our tangents, like, how complicated that could be. But, so, Captain America is like, let's go fight him, and everything else has to be put on the back burner. So, like, I hear, there's a building that's burning down, fuck him, we gotta fight that guy over there. And everything else, like, Iron Man is like, I gotta fight, no, somebody has to stop a prison riot, and it's Hawkeye. And Cap's like, nope, let him go! We gotta fight this bad guy!
Wait, this is New York, I assume?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, aren't there police and firefighters?
But they're supervillains and shit.
What plan is this, by the way, from Cap?
Oh, it's a horrible plan. But, like, yeah, everyone except for Spider-Man and Mary Jane are written completely out of character and bizarrely.
Okay.
That also being said, to complement the bizarre writing, Kubert decides to take some liberties with people's costumes, giving it a really, like, this is definitely not going to be canon or never happened territory. Captain America's, like, A and his star switched, which is, like, a really simple switch. You'd think it wouldn't be that glaring and weird, but it is, and it pulls you right out of the story. It makes it feel like a what-if book, and not in that good way, where what-if books are really cool, in that, like, oh, they still were publishing what-if books.
Oh, no.
Oh. So, in this, like, Spider-Man catches Hawkeye's prison break is going bad, which includes the, escape of Venom, who is modeled after the Mac Gargan Scorpion Venom, but is Eddie Brock. So, whatever.
Alright.
Once again, another, like,
I guess you just wanted to draw that?
Yeah, he wanted to draw new Venom, but put old Venom in there. I don't know. It was weird. There were a lot of weird choices in this. So, Eddie Brock, of course, acts completely out of character, and he's like, I'm going to go kill and eat Mary Jane and the kid. So he goes to the apartment, and and Spider-Man and Venom fight. And it's like, if I were to just say to you, so in this book, Spider-Man and Mary Jane are back together, and then Spider-Man and Venom fight. That's an awesome book. Yeah. And it's a book you've read probably 1,000 times. But in this story, Venom is off the rails crazy, and he's gonna kill the kid and his wife, and Spider-Man's trying to come up with like ways to defeat him, and that's cool and clever. Eventually, Spider-Man leads Venom into a burning building, because it's like, fire.
Oh, was it the building that
was on fire? Yeah. The firemen, by the way, are there.
They're just very ineffective.
Yes.
Well, what do we do? There are no superheroes here.
Yeah, what?
Here's to take care of this.
Why can't Deathlock take out this fire? So, so Spider-Man lures Venom into the fire, and Venom's like, very clever, Spider-Man, to lure me into this fire, but I'm still going to kill you, and then I'm going to kill your wife and your kid, and I'm never going to stop.
Wait, fire hurts Venom?
Yeah, fire and Sonics hurt the symbiote. And then, like, while Venom is taunting Spider-Man with all the things he's going to do to the kid and his wife, Mary Jane, I think, is like, you know what to do! And he's like, you're right, I'm going to fucking kill Venom. And then he does. And, like, brings the whole damn building on top of Venom. And then he leaves while the whole building just collapses. And then there's that monster moment where, like, Venom's hand comes out of the rubble, and then the symbiote, like, melts off it, and then it just dies. And Spider-Man's like, I'm done. Like, I have a responsibility to you and my daughter, and that is it. And so he quits. And then it jumps ahead sometime. So like
he just stops being Spider-Man?
Just stops, because he's like... And it's funny, because in every book that Spider-Man stops being Spider-Man, he stops for, like, maybe a week. Max. But mostly it's, like, a couple of hours. And in this...
Especially when Mary Jane tells him that he has to stop.
Right.
And he's like, I can't even stop for 5 minutes.
No, Maximum Carnage. So, in this, you're like, oh, okay. And, I think Anna was, like, in a high chair, like, she's a high chair age in the beginning of the book. And then we end this issue, she's walking and talking, and they're in the street. Like, just, he's walking her from home or from school or whatever. And we reveal that the Avengers who are going to go fight that big OP character lost. And the OP character took over Manhattan. So, Spider-Man and his wife and daughter live in this new Manhattan that's run by a bad guy.
That was probably a better decision on Peter Parker's
Yeah, right, because he probably would have died.
He probably would have died too!
Yeah.
Did Peter Parker quit being Spider-Man like certain readers quit reading Spider-Man?
Kind of. It's for many readers, I'm sure, it is incredibly insulting because they're basically saying, like, Spider-Man... If Peter Parker and Mary Jane were together, you wouldn't get Spider-Man books.
But that's not fair. They changed the scenario.
Right.
Like, it's not that they, as two adults, realize we can't have children.
Yeah.
They
do that later, though, in A Moment in Time.
Yeah,
like,
but in this book, this is the book that they're like, no, this is what you want, right?
Yeah, they're like, here you go.
You want him married and have a kid. He can't be Spider-Man. It's like, no, we want him married and have a kid. And be Spider-Man.
No.
Because he's fucking
I
Spider-Man.
think most people just want them to be married.
Yes.
And I would think that Peter Parker and Mary Jane would realize, like, Peter Parker needs to be Spider-Man.
Yes.
And we can't have a child right now.
Right, and that's kind of where they went with it. But
no, I think Mary Jane is like, look, if you're not going to be home, I got to have a baby. I got to have someone entertaining me.
No, the Mary Jane that everyone wants back would not be like that.
Well, it's funny because Joe Quesada's Mary Jane, which was... He helped develop One Moment in Time, which was a sequel/retcon of One More Day. They reveal that the reason that they break up is because she wants to have a kid, but knows that he can never stop being Spider-Man, and it would be irresponsible to have a kid and be Spider-Man, so they break up. She's like, when you quit being Spider-Man, we can be back together. Which, of course, will never happen, so they'll never be together. Ha ha ha, you didn't get what you wanted.
But does that mean that, like, whoa, that doesn't even make any sense. If she's like, well, then we can be together, that means she's still not going to have a kid with somebody because she's going to be waiting for Peter Parker.
Yep.
So why not just be with him and not have the kid?
Yeah. For this being the book we've all been asking for, it is decidedly not. It is a what-if book at best, and a boring 20-year-old Spider-Man story at worst. And there are more issues to come, and I know that Slott likes to play the long game, so maybe there will be something. I mean, like, obviously, it's a miniseries. Obviously, he quits being Spider-Man at the end of this issue. We're not going to get 4 more books or 3 more books of Peter Parker, the spectacular Spider-Dad, going to PTA meetings and, like, fixing the plumbing in the apartment. He's going to be Spider-Man again.
Now.
Like, he's going to be Spider-Man eventually, and they're going to have to justify that, but...
Peter Parker is in the supermarket, and he's in the checkout line. He's just like, wait a minute, and his spider sense goes off. It's just like, I should have gotten the off-brand detergent because it would have saved me 23 cents.
Right. Wait a minute. I need my membership card, and I can save 15%. Cha-ching! Another victory. It's like 3 Men and a Baby. Like, it's that kind of humor, and Like, there's a moment where, she's like, oh, no, you don't, change diapers. Remember that time you made a web diaper and blah, blah. I'm like, God damn it. Like, and they're basically saying, like, no, because this is what it would be like. This is what you would get. It's boring and stupid, okay? It's like, no, you're deliberately writing this so that we don't like it, so that when he's single again, we're like, whoo, we can have fun. You can do it both ways, you guys.
You know what they're doing? They're trying to make new Coke.
Yeah. They're like, look, here. And, like, you hated it, didn't you? But you liked it back.
Here's classic Coke.
You're welcome.
Aren't you glad?
Aren't you glad it's back?
And no matter whatever numbers they get, whatever, like, communications they get from this, they're going to spin this however they want.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, they're going to be...
This is one of those cases where they already have what they think is going to be the future of Spider-Man, because Spider-Man's such a touchy issue for Marvel, whether it's in the cinematic universe or in comic form. This one, like, I don't even know.
Oh, yeah.
I have no advice.
If this book sold like gangbusters, and I don't know, because it only just came out a couple days ago by the time this episode comes out, I don't have the numbers for how it's selling. If it sells crazy great, they might make some decisions based on it. But they'll also know that there was a planned effort to spike the sales. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So everyone who hated it one more day will buy 2 copies, and trick you into thinking that it's selling great. That said, vote with your wallets. If you want to see a married Spider-Man, tell them with Twitter, tell them with money, buy the book, read it. Let me know what you think, because here's the thing. At the end of the day, my question to you guys, if you care, is what did you think of married Spider-Man back together? Like, is that something you want to see? For me, I want to see Pete and Mary Jane back together, but from the continuity that they were established in when they ended it.
Without sacrificing him being Spider-Man.
I want to keep reading Spider-Man. I don't want to read, like...
No, you want to read Mary Jane and Peter Parker.
You know what's funny? They did that in the Clone Saga. The fact that they made Captain America look like a fucking clown, and, like, Iron Man looks like he's, like, riveted... Like, he looks like Steel from DC. Like, it's so stupid. And it's just like, why did you... Like, and they only did that because they want you to know that this is not permanent. That this is not going to stay. This isn't even happening. It's not even real. You're in the Matrix right now. Anyway, so, like, I could have been more eloquent with it, but the fact is, like, it didn't wow me. It was kind of a fun read. It's the Spider-Man and Venom fight.
We know you're going to read the rest of it.
Of course I'm going to read the rest of it. And I'll give you really, really short reviews of it throughout Secret Wars TLDR.
That's fair.
This is going to be like...
Yeah, yay or nay.
Yeah, I'm more interested in hearing your thoughts than reading it myself.
Oh yeah,
and that's not me being like, I want you to just tell me what happens. I'm literally just more interested
to know what I think about what's happening.
I want Sal rants.
I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. I mean, like, I want to see what happens, and I want to see, because of the all new, all different Marvel release, where there's like 18 different Spider people that are now going to be in the main continuity.
Yeah, which one? Well, I can tell you which one it's not.
Yeah, well...
It's not Peter Urich.
Yeah, no, he didn't work it. But, like, there's 2 main Spider-Men in the new Marvel Universe, and, that's a lot of Spider people. Like...
That's way too many Spider people.
Way too many Spider-Men. They should be limited to 1 or less.
1 or less. 1 or none.
Yeah, but, yeah.
Sounds a 1 or none kind of guy when it comes to Spider-Man.
It's true. Anyway, I guess that's it. Did we do them all?
I think we did them all. By the way, if anybody ever, like, if Doctor Strange shows up in your books,
just let you know. Yeah. Sure thing.
There is a really bizarre joke at the end of this. At the end of the vignette.
Oh?
Where Blade goes, like, where they're talking about getting food, and Blade's like, what do you mean, like, breadcrumbs? And he's like, whoa, man. That's like if I said, do you want to go get a bunch of watermelon? And Blade's like, fair enough.
That's not fair enough.
Whoa!
That's really weird.
I was like...
Way to take it to a weird place.
And there's the last
line.
words spoken
it's
in
like,
that vignette.
It's like, you're racist? Speciesist?
Yeah, like, there's a difference.
There's
one
a
is
huge difference.
made up, and the other one is a thing.
It's incredible.
That people actually suffer from.
And insulting.